What if I told you that your intelligence is the very thing keeping you poor, lonely, and stuck? Most self-help gurus tell you that thinking is your greatest asset. They are wrong. For the architect of a high-performance life, excessive thought is a virus. It is a sophisticated form of cowardice masked as preparation. Have you ever noticed that the most successful people aren't necessarily the smartest? They are simply the ones who have killed the voice in their head that asks, "What if?" Today, we are dismantling the thinking trap. We are going to explore how to transition from a reflective slave to an executive archon. By the end of this video, the way you view a decision will never be the same. The human brain was not designed for the 21st century. It was designed for survival. To your primitive brain, a wrong choice meant death by a predator. Today, that same survival mechanism triggers when you're deciding which email to send or which business to start. This is analysis paralysis. Your prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic, gets caught in a feedback loop with your amygdala, the seat of fear. You aren't thinking, you are ruminating. You are running simulations of failure to protect yourself from a ghost. The architect understands this. A perfect plan tomorrow is inferior to a flawed plan executed today. Why? Because the world only gives feedback to those who move. The overthinker receives no data, only more doubt. Psychologist Barry Schwartz called it the paradox of choice. The more options you have, the more paralyzed you become. In an age of infinite information, we are drowning in options. The Archon uses constraint-based decision-making. Imagine a builder. He doesn't say, "I will build a house." He says, "I have 1,000 bricks in 48 hours. To stop overthinking, you must artificially shrink your world. The 2-minute rule for micro-decisions. If it takes less than 2 minutes, the architect doesn't think, he acts. The 70% rule used by Jeff Bezos and high-level commanders. If you have 70% of the information you need, you must decide. Waiting for 90% is a waste of time. That 20% gap is where your mental archon is born. It's filled by intuition and courage. How do we practically stop? We use a technique called cognitive diffusion. The architect says, "Well, I am noticing a thought of worry." Well, overthinking is a habit. And like any habit, it is reinforced every time you hesitate. When you feel that itch to check one more review or wait one more day, that is the moment of war. If you hesitate, you lose. If you act, even if you fail, you win, because you have trained your brain that action is the priority. Most people say, "Yes, I am worried, dice." By adding those few words, you create space between your identity and your biology. You are the observer, not the victim. Overthinking is a habit, and like any habit, it is reinforced every time you hesitate. When you feel that itch to check one more review or wait one more day, that is the moment of war. If you hesitate, you lose. If you act, even if you fail, you win, because you have trained your brain that action is the priority. Stop thinking during the day. Do your thinking at night. The Archon spends 5 minutes at the end of the day to audit the next. Write down the 3 big rocks, the 3 things that move the needle. When the sun rises, the thinking brain is turned off. The executive brain is turned on. You don't ask if you feel like doing it. An architect doesn't ask the bricks if they want to be laid. He just lays them. The world is full of brilliant people who thought their way into mediocrity. Don't be one of them. The Mind Archon doesn't seek the perfect path. He makes the path perfect by walking it. Subscribe if you're ready to build. Leave a comment below. What is the one decision you've been overthinking for too long? Decide now.